Hello, haven't seen you in a while. As you can see, the channel and the logo and everything changed, and I want to talk about this. Um, I've been trying to make a lot of videos about what's going on in Russia, topics that I really wanted to talk about, like, for example, massacre in Bucha or killing of Boris Nemtsov. Those two particular topics took me so many attempts because every time when I tried to do, for example, Bucha, I went through a lot of footage. I went through a lot of uncensored photos with all the dead bodies, with everything that Russian army did, everything that Putin denies that he did. Um, every time when I'm doing research or I wrote a script, but now I need to do all the footage, combine it together, and go through all the monstrosity that Russian regime did. It just breaks me every time, um, and I just every time I go there, every time I search for it, I just cry. Seeing dead kids, seeing what's going on there. It's a long story, but a few days ago I was finishing my testimony, and even testimony took me a lot. Um, when I got here in America, I took like maybe 2 months when I got in LA from ICE detention. It was a bliss. I completely forgot about everything. I was just so happy to be here. I was so happy not to be in fear. I went from ICE detention. They released me, so everything was good. I had my hearing scheduled, but you know, I was just living in the moment, and it was the best time. But as you know, I also started filming videos back then, and one of those videos that title, I think, I don't feel too good, when I explain like, okay, what's to do, like what should I do now, because yes, I explored everything, and now kind of the past life trying to catch up with me, and I really wanted to start doing videos because I have a lot of things to say about Russia, about this war in Ukraine, and just time went by, and I needed to get a job. I got my documents and all that. I wanted to prepare for a court, and all of this and all of that, and it's already 2 years past, and I barely made any videos, but I was closely monitoring everything day by day, and I still do. There wasn't a day when I didn't look up at the news in Russia, particularly everything they do, war crimes, and a few recent major, I think, updates is that Ukrainian army, Ukrainian drone division, they doing actually successful things. They trying to hit deep in Russia to destroy all the oil stations, all the oil bases that Russia have, and they successfully doing it. But there's also some journalism, or whatever you want to call it, I wanted to do really badly about, as I mentioned, Boris Nemtsov, because this story sits really close to me. That is the reason I got involved so much into Russian politics. If you don't know what happened, I just briefly summarize. He was murdered by one of the Putin's dogs in front of the Kremlin. It's like, I don't know, let's imagine somebody, some big politician dies in front of White House. Basically the same thing. Kremlin is like a White House. So he was murdered. And the strange thing is that in a Kremlin, in the center of Moscow, there was only one camera working at that moment where he was gunned down. One camera. So there's a lot of to uncover. There's a lot of people trying to uncover from big independent Russian medias. But yeah, and I think I'm finally, ready to do that. I'm not gonna go into details, although I have to. It just, I'm still kind of scared, even though here doing that, uh, and I shouldn't be, but I am for some reason. All this makes me paranoid because there's a lot of people who criticize Putin not even that popular. They're still getting killed, getting gunned down for criticizing or speaking about Putin in a bad way. A few days ago, for example, there was a Russian artist who was drawing caricatures of Putin, Zelensky, and other Russian big politicians, and he was even criticizing Zelensky. So he wasn't really on anyone's side, but he was murdered in Poland. He was living in Poland, and so far there's two people that are responsible, according to Polish police. Is that one Russian person and one person from Belarus? So reading all of this, it just weighs down on me, and it's really difficult. And I understand where I am now, but still, this fear, lives with me. And in my spare time, I was doing a lot of reading about physics. It's a little bit nerdy thing that I always wanted to do. Every time I have a few days off of work, I go to Caltech. Not that sounds like I go every day, but like once in like 2 months, I try to go on their lectures, and just watching a lot of lectures online, not from Caltech, but just from different people. I bought myself a book, for the beginners how to do physics. I was watching a lot of things about wormholes and time travel, and just like how the universe works. It always something that I was really into, but with everything that happened in my life, I kind of forgot about all of this. And yeah, I finished my testimony. I sent it to my lawyer, so I'm probably gonna hear back from her next week. My upcoming master hearing in July 10th, and at that master hearing, I'm gonna get a date for individual hearing. So I don't know where it's gonna be. It could be a year from now. It could be 2 years from now. And I want this video to just be online for like I don't know, until I post the next video. But I really do want to talk about what's going on in Russia, about Ukraine, and support Ukraine in any way possible. When I got here, I got a few friends that took me to the TCL Chinese Theater to, I guess it was not an exhibition, but it was just kind of exhibition sort of, where Ukrainian people who live here, they have a community here. They got a VR tour of all the Russian distractions that happened in Ukraine. There was like a before and after. So, I can go a long way explaining this, but to summarize it all, I think I'm still scared doing this, but I have things to say, and in less than like 4 weeks, I'll finally receive my final date of my individual hearing, where my faith will be decided. And I don't know if anyone's still here, but from now on, I'm gonna post like a short video every day, talking about like what happened that day in Russia. And I really want to focus on those two videos, about Bucha and about killing of Boris Nemtsov. But I want to make it like, big kind of in journalist way style kind of video, with all the details, dates, and Bucha video is definitely going to be uncensored, because I want to document and show you everything that Russian army did, every civilian that they murdered, every death that is on Putin's hands. And about Nemtsov, I just want to make it so as many, like, make it really high quality, so as many people, so it could reach as many people as possible. Sorry. And overall, there's a few other videos that I just want to make about war in Ukraine, about what's going on in Russia, and everything where it went so far, you know, I'm definitely, my life definitely separated to before and after this war. And right now I'm living on this like thin like line where I'm just really hoping and I'm looking forward to that final day of my individual hearing where I can finally, present everything I can before the judge and let the judge decide my faith. And I'm trying to, I'm trying to also get a few days off to, enjoy Los Angeles, enjoy California. I was planning on getting a driving license, but, you know, with everything going on, I kind of decided not to. Um, just working, saving money for now, and no matter what I do, no matter what I try to do, no matter in what ways I'm trying to distract myself, it all comes to this. It all comes to the war in Ukraine and what's going to happen to me, because I cannot return to Russia with what I'm doing, with what I said online, and with the work I did. Yeah, I'm not going to this because it makes me depressed, and that was the part that I couldn't film videos for that long as well, because it's just a long story. I hope you understand why. Thinking about what's going to happen to you, and if I can get asylum here, this and that, and I'm scared. I'm definitely scared. I've been living like this for the like past 5 years. Like after war started, 4 years after war started, definitely. You know. There's no words. I still cannot find words to fully express my fear, but I am tired, I guess, of living in trepidation. And I also want to dig even deeper into the world of physics. This is genuinely something that I want to do, but even talking about positive future still kind of puts me into a position where I'm like getting depressed as well, because what if not, what if. So I'm gonna stop thinking about this. And I also made a lot of revaluations, a lot of ways to find the best way to exist right now with everything that going on. So I'm trying to do my best. But yeah, this is what's gonna happen with this channel. I didn't delete all the videos. All the videos are just hidden. They're still on the channel, and but for now, I'm gonna focus on making videos about Ukraine and Russia, because I do have things to say. I know a few things. So that's what's gonna happen. And if you still here, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I do read every comments, although there's just a few, but I still read those. So thank you.